Well, I'm currently engaged in a project which I'm working on collaboratively with Ken Persick on an alternative conception of God. And we call this conception Euteleology. And that is a word that we've coined, so I don't expect anyone to know immediately what is meant by it. But perhaps before I get to explaining what is actually meant by it, I should answer your first question, which is, why am I motivated to be looking for an alternative? Because I think many philosophers of religion, within the kind of tradition within which I've been brought up, which is the Anglophone analytical tradition, will think that it's fairly clear what our best understanding of the nature of God is. They will think, with people like Richard Swinburne or Alvin Plantinga, that God is a supreme person, although a person without a body, who creates and sustains the world ex nihilo, not in any way constrained by anything prior to the world, but that everything that there is produced by this being, and that this being is omnipotent, all-powerful, omniscient, knows everything, and omnibenevolent, perfectly good, morally perfect. And many people see the main task in philosophy of religion as saying, well, we've got this concept of God, right? But the really important question is, what justification do we have for believing that there is such a thing? Now, of course, one of the famous arguments against the reasonableness of believing that there is such a thing is the argument from evil. And I imagine people, very well understand that. It's basically the idea that there are evils in the world which couldn't possibly exist if God both had the power to eliminate them and was also perfectly good. And I suppose a fundamental motivation that I have is the combination of, first of all, thinking that there is a form of the argument from evil which succeeds against the existence of this kind of being, which I like to call the personal omnigod. That there are evils in the world which are so serious that it really rules out the possibility of such a being. A combination of that conviction with a conviction that I also have that God does exist, and that in particular the Christian life is worth pursuing. So of course what I conclude from that is that there must be some alternative conception of God. If there isn't, of course, then I would have to be an outright atheist. But I think of myself not as an outright atheist. I'm a theist, but I'm a personal omnigod atheist. With respect to this particular conception, I think that God does not exist.